Most men think semen retention is a simple habit, a switch, a challenge, a streak. You flex. But any man who has actually walked this path knows the truth. You do not do retention. Retention does something to you. It breaks you open, drags you through your shadows, rebuilds you, and forces you to meet parts of yourself you've avoided for years. There are stages to this journey, but not the neat, polished ones you see on social media. These are the real stages. The ones every man secretly goes through but rarely talks about. The ones that expose who you've been and reveal who you can become. The first stage begins the moment you stop running from yourself. When you first say, "Enough, I'm done living like this." But the moment you decide to hold your seed, your old identity wakes up like a sleeping demon, because you've just declared war on the version of you that fed on distraction, lust, and comfort. That version does not die quietly. In the beginning, your body feels restless. Your mind feels loud. Everything in you is adjusting. You feel a strange pull-like energy rising but not yet knowing where to go. And this is where most men fail. They think the discomfort is a sign that retention isn't working. They think they're supposed to feel superhuman on day one. They don't realize the storm is the sign. The chaos is the cleansing. Retention doesn't give you power first. It strips away the rot. You have to be emptied before you can be filled. That leads you into the second stage, the battle with the past. Your urges spike. Your memories resurface. Your cravings intensify. It's like every ghost of every mistake you ever made shows up at once. Your mind tries to convince you that you can't do this, that you're built to fail, that you'll always be the guy who breaks on day 3 or day 7. And you start noticing triggers everywhere: images, sounds, routines, boredom, loneliness. This is the stage where your brain fights for familiarity. It wants the old reward, the quick dopamine, the temporary relief. But every time you resist, you rewrite the script inside your mind. You start teaching your nervous system that you aren't ruled by impulse anymore. You start proving to yourself that desire doesn't have to equal weakness. You begin separating what your body wants from what your life needs. This stage feels like war because it is one. Then something interesting happens. You move into the third stage, the shift in identity. You wake up one morning and realize your urges feel different. They're still there, but they don't dominate you. Your discipline kicks in automatically. Your brain feels clearer. Your energy feels heavier, thicker, more grounded. You notice yourself speaking differently, walking differently, thinking differently. And the people around you notice it too. They may not know what changed, but they feel it. Your presence becomes denser. You stop leaking energy through every little distraction. You stop acting like a man who needs validation. You start becoming a man who creates gravity around him. You start valuing your attention like a currency. This stage is one of the most dangerous, not because it's hard, but because you'll start feeling strong. And you might get overconfident. Men who fall here fall because they think they've made it. They think the journey is done. But this is only the midpoint. You've changed externally your habits, your focus, your energy, but the real transformation hasn't begun yet. That's when the fourth stage hits, the inner confrontation. This is the stage no influencer talks about. When the sexual energy builds up so intensely inside you that it starts lighting up every unhealed part of your mind. This is where suppressed emotions come back. Childhood wounds, old insecurities, guilt, shame, regrets. At this stage, retention stops being a discipline and becomes a mirror. The longest, deepest mirror you've ever looked into. This is the stage where many men relapse not because they're weak, but because they're emotionally overwhelmed. They use lust as a way to numb what they feel. Retention pulls the numbness away. It forces you to face the pain you always avoided. That's why this stage feels raw, uncomfortable, and brutally honest. But if you push through, something powerful happens. You start healing, not through force, not through perfection, through awareness. You start realizing your urges were never the problem. The urge was just a messenger, pointing at something deeper: loneliness, fear, boredom, emptiness. When you confront the root instead of fighting the symptom, you evolve in ways that most men never will. And once you survive that confrontation, you enter the fifth stage, the rise. This is the stage every man talks about the benefits, but they never tell you how heavy the cost was to get here. Your brain gets sharper, your social anxiety fades, your posture changes without effort, your voice deepens, your workflow becomes smoother. You feel drawn to progress like gravity. Your time-wasting habits start falling away on their own. You stop chasing women. And ironically, that's when women start noticing you more. Not because retention makes you magical, because it makes you present. You look people in the eye. You speak with clarity. You move with intention. Your attention is no longer fragmented. Your energy stays inside your body instead of leaking out into fantasy. This is where your masculine energy starts rising in a stable, controlled way. Not like a fire that burns out, like a furnace that produces fuel. You feel creative, you feel powerful, you feel focused, and you start realizing how many years you spent living at 10% of your capacity. You start understanding why this path is ancient, but there is still a final stage, the one very few men reach because they mistake benefits for completion. The sixth stage is mastery. This is where you don't just hold your seed, you direct it. You turn your retention into purpose. The energy that used to flow into urges now flows into ambition, into self-development, into work, into fitness, into discipline, into your craft, into the future version of you that you're building like a blueprint. In the mastery stage, retention is no longer a fight. It becomes effortless, not because urges disappear, but because you outgrow the version of yourself that depended on release as a coping mechanism. You stop craving what weakens you. You stop getting pulled into the same loops. You stop living like a man divided inside himself. You become whole. Your energy becomes clean. Your mind becomes uncluttered. Your purpose becomes loud. And your life starts aligning in ways that look lucky from the outside, but are actually the result of inner order. When your masculine energy stops leaking outward, it rises upward. This is when you begin tapping into the highest potentials of retention: intuition, sharpness, emotional control, leadership, confidence that doesn't need to be displayed, and power that doesn't need to be proven. Reaching this stage does not mean you'll never mess up. It means when you fall, you stand up faster. It means you know exactly who you are. It means you've built a relationship with yourself that no addiction can replace. Most men never make it past stage 2. They cycle between urges and guilt for years. They never experience the internal restructuring that happens later. But you're here. You're watching this. That already puts you ahead of the version of you that used to avoid this path. Retention isn't about being better than other men. It's about being better than the man you were yesterday. It's about choosing growth over impulse, strength over weakness, clarity over chaos. The path isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. Nothing powerful is born without friction. Nothing valuable is built without challenge. Every stage prepares you for the next one. Every struggle is a test of identity, not stamina. And every time you rise, you evolve. This journey is not for every man, but it is for the man who is tired of wasting his potential, tired of wasting his energy, tired of living half awake. If you're that man, these stages aren't just obstacles, they're catalysts. They're the steps toward becoming someone your old self could never touch. And when you reach that final stage, when you feel that controlled fire inside you, when you realize how powerful you feel simply by being in your own skin, that's when you understand the true purpose of retention. Not to impress anyone, not to build a streak, but to reclaim the man you were always supposed to be.